morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Happy Friday. We made it. Yeah. Of course, everybody knows what happens on Friday around here. It's Family Friday, and on Family Friday, we bring in a little bit more freedom than we had the other days of the week. The lovely Stephanie Peterson, my wife.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Just that last sprint before vacation.
For sure. We're very excited. Stephanie and I getting ready to leave on Sunday.
We are.
Yeah.
Slightly stressful, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Been packing for days.
Stephanie is the type to like pre-pack and get everything ready, and I haven't even really started packing it all yet.
I know. I mean, I have to decide which clothes to fit in my suitcase because I have a lot.
Good morning to all of our friends who joined us nice and early. Caleb Vanderfelt, Andy Opperman, and Michael Nipp, as well as the Stream Elements bot is here with us today.
Oh.
Good to see everybody.
Yes, we
here.
accept AI.
Yes, good to see you, Kermode Bear. Welcome. Good morning, Quest fanning. Glad to have you here on Friday, the very last show before break. But
oh my gosh, when we come back, we're going to be new people.
I know, we're going to be completely different.
The show will be entirely in Japanese from here on out.
I think we're turning Japanese. You're turning Japanese. I really think so. We're super excited. Stephanie's got her emotional support chicken, which means it's time for us to start the show. What do you say? You ready? All right, let's start the show.
Should bring this on the airplane and be like, this is my emotional support chicken.
Stephanie this morning looked up the definition of word salad because Kamala Harris took a nice big bite yesterday and shared it with the rest of us, maybe with a little salmonella on top. Kamala Harris gave in a speech yesterday, a baffling speech on International Women's Day, gave us something to think about, but I don't think it was what she wanted us to think about. We're thinking about something else. I'll play the clip. We'll talk about it. Joe Biden with a little bit of word salad himself.
Yeah, it's so funny because the definition of word salad said it's associated with schizophrenia and Alzheimer's.
Which,
So maybe Kamala has the schizophrenia and Joe has Alzheimer's.
She's got whatever Joe's got.
Yes.
We'll play those clips for you here at the top of the show in just a moment. And then I've got Joe Biden clip saying, I like babies better than people, which I think is kind of... Kind of an odd statement.
I don't know. Because babies aren't people.
Do you like babies better than people? I have a really weird story about a date that I went on in New York a long time ago where I dated a teacher, and she was like, I like kids better than I like adults. And I was just like, oh, this is really weird.
Oh,
She's
okay.
like, did I tell you this story?
No, you haven't. But I hear a lot of people saying they like animals better than people.
Now
say that.
I can understand, but it was just kind of really awkward. She was just really morose and melancholy, and it was just an odd thing to say. But at least it makes sense. You could say I like kids better than people, better than adults.
Yeah.
Though to say what Joe Biden said, which is I like babies better than people, it sort of smacks of that whole Democrat view when it comes to abortion, where it's like, I like
Does
babies.
he really like babies better?
Does he really like babies better than people? I don't know.
He needs to rethink that statement.
Well, you know what he really likes is 19-year-olds.
Look at her. She looks like she's 19 years old, sitting there with her, like a little lady with her legs crossed.
Maybe he's talking about a baby.
Look at there. I look 19 years old. Look,
yeah, he's probably talking about a baby
crossed.
there.
Listen. Before y'all call him pedophile, 19 is legal. Perfectly fine.
It is. Leonardo DiCaprio can confirm.
Exactly. At 7:20 this morning, calling out former bosses. Apparently, non-disparagement clauses might not be a thing of the past. So we'll talk about that at 7:20. And then 7:35 this morning, the big story of the day, a transgender cyclist dominated in the New York City women's bicycle race. Bicycle. He wanted to ride his bicycle. Fat bottom girls, I'll be riding your way. Except the fat bottoms aren't girls' bottoms, they're guys' bottoms.
Yeah, he doesn't have fat bottom.
He's not a fat bottom. Oh, you gonna take him home tonight? Oh, is it woman or it isn't right?
Yeah, it is a very interesting story.
Interesting to say the least. Grotesque, definitely. We'll discuss it at 7:30 this morning. At 7:51 this morning, I actually found this story. I like to find stories throughout the week that I save for Friday because I know they're good Steffi stories.
So special.
Because we got two little French bulldog puppies that we love, and they love to share the bed with Austin and Stephanie. But
to cuddle.
But guess who doesn't allow them to sleep with us at night? Daddy doesn't allow
I'm
that.
pointing the finger at you.
That's fine. Yeah, it's not talking about?
mommy.
That dog, listen, I know that I snore like I'm sawing logs, right? But do I honestly think that our little tiny French bulldog is actually louder than I am.
I'm gonna have to record both of you.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's do that. We'll see that happen.
I don't
See
know
who's
if you want
louder.
to hear this.
You know what? We should do it. We can do a decibel level test on our phones.
can.
And we'll play it on the show on Friday. How's that?
That would be
Because it's
really
like
fun.
with George. And it's like, okay, he's got to sleep outside. But still, the science says, this is the science. Sharing a bed with pets may disrupt sleep. We'll talk about that at 7:51 this morning. At 8 o'clock this morning, we'll talk about a long list of things that are now racist. Stephanie, did you enjoy the list of things that are now racist?
I did. I was really confused by the list.
Well, no need to be confused. We'll get things all sorted out this
I
morning.
don't think
at 8
I'm
o'clock.
racist, but I do a lot of these things.
Listen, honey, you white, you racist. Okay, so we'll talk about that. And then at 8:23 this morning, we'll take a little twist to talk about some psychology, how men perceive supportive partners in the race, which I think is nice. Yes. Very nice.
How do they perceive support chickens?
Support chickens, I don't know. And if we still have time, then I've got maybe a story or two, and we'll basically say our goodbyes to the Wake Up Crew. But don't fret. Remember, Justin Peterson, my brother, will be taking over next week. He will do 5 shows for you, and he will ensure that you get a nice little bit of entertainment. 1-hour show next week, so abbreviated. And then after that, it's bye until we get back.
We'll vanish into the Bermuda Triangle.
Exactly. So let's start at the top of the show. Kamala Harris roasted over her word salad on Women's History speech. Let's take a listen in our Twitter weirdness.
So during Women's History Month, we celebrate and we honor the women who made history throughout history, who saw what could be unburdened by what had been. So during Women's History Month, we celebrate and we honor the women who made history throughout history, who saw what could be unburdened by what had been. So during Women's History Month.
So pause. So restart.
Do you see the sign language interpreter too?
Yeah. Didn't you think
she's probably totally not doing the right signs?
Didn't you wonder if she was like doing the whole fake signs? If she's one of those fake sign interpreters?
Now I'm really on guard for that.
Like that. But here's the thing: if you were just kind of like not actively listening to that, you would probably be like, oh, yes, so profound.
For sure. And I think most people are half listening to stuff. And so they're like, oh, wow, that's so nice.
Right.
Hey, women history.
That's
all we really want to hear.
One of the sad things that I learned in communications back in the day was that it's like 80 to 90%. It's not what you say. It's how you say it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So if you seem profound when you're saying something, right, you could be saying Yankee Doodle went to London riding on a pony.
Right.
Stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni.
Right. To be or not to be. That is the question.
So exciting, right? But the reality is that what was she saying there? Let's listen to it one more time and just try and let's interpret if we can.
Yes,
we'll sign.
Give the Cliff Notes version.
Here we go. Here it is.
So during Women's History Month, we celebrate and we honor the women who made history throughout history.
Okay.
Who saw what could
pause. Yes.
So women did things.
Yes.
Throughout.
Some women.
History.
Some women did something.
Yes. They made history, which history can have multiple definitions, right? History can mean in the past, or it can mean like you're actually doing something monumental, right? So she's just using history in 2 different ways, see?
I would really be
synonym.
You know what? Honestly, I'm actually curious what our studio audience thinks. Like, how would you interpret this? You can send us a text on the show this morning at 573-319-1586.
Voice is soothing until she laughs.
Oh, the Kamala cackle.
Frightened.
The Kamala cackle. Yes, it is. It is. You can send us a text today again at 573-319-1586. Again, the number is 573-319-1586. Sarah Palacios. Good morning, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
She says that I think that she's just an actress. Chris Morrill says he's running a little late, had to run the car in again. Oh boy, having some car trouble, Chris. Hey, we're all just interpreting. You're not the only one with car troubles today. How would you interpret what Kamala Harris is saying here?
So during Women's History Month, we celebrate and we honor the women who made history throughout history, who saw what could be unburdened by what had been. So during Women's History Month, we celebrate and we honor
unburdened.
who saw what could be unburdened by what had been.
We saw what could be unburdened by what had been.
What?
Here's the thing. If I had talked like that during my campaigns, I probably would have done a lot better.
Yes.
Because the fact is that when you're running for office or when you're trying to gain power, you want to say as little as possible. Right. So she wants to be the president of the United States. That's how you know that she wants to be the next president. She doesn't want anything getting in her way. And she's willing to have the Daily Caller and the Wake Up America show and all, Tucker Carlson and everybody play these clips because at the end of the day, what is the gotcha, right? The gotcha is that she's talking nonsense. Okay.
I mean, really, she thinks we Americans are fools. I was looking up what grade level most things are written in. I used to think it was 5th grade. I used to think newspapers were written in the 5th grade reading level, but now I was reading it's like the 10th or 11th grade reading level that things are written in.
Are they really? I don't know.
That's what I was just reading online this morning.
I don't know if I believe that.
But, it just shows Americans are not very smart.
Yeah.
Most of them.
John Rails has a great comment. He says, all I hear when she speaks is the teacher for the Peanuts. That's funny. Remember?
Is it like blah, 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 blah?
Speaking
that's funny.
That's very funny, John. Let's play Joe Biden talking about babies.
To lower prescription drug costs. Drug companies that raise prices faster than inflation. Now, that's all right. We like babies. You don't have to worry about it. So it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Matter of fact, I like babies better than people.
Pause. Okay, Joe. All right. So
babies are another species.
He likes babies are another species. He likes babies better than he likes people. That's fascinating. A little bit of tidbit from that person.
That's why he's for abortion. He doesn't see babies as people.
There, Stephanie, you got it. You nailed it.
Babies are not people.
Babies are not people. Right. Yes. Yeah. They're not. Yeah.
There we go. We solved the abortion debate.
You're making the babies cry right now.
Yep.
Babies are not people. We appreciate everybody joining us this morning. Good morning, Barney Stiles, Jose Palacios. Nice to see you, Jose. It's been a while, brother. Let's give him
Sarah's husband.
Yeah, good to see you, Jose.
Watching, how cool.
For sure. Andy Opperman over in the chat says, I would submit that the reading level of 5th graders in the past is the reading of 10th graders today. That's actually a really good point there. But,
so 10th graders read at the reading level of level of 5th graders?
Right. So 10th graders today can read at the 5th grade level of yesteryears.
So we've really been dumbed down.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. Well, yesterday, that's like, you can see the preview for yesterday's show, American IQ Drop. Yesterday, the topic of the show was about how American IQs are dropping.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And some people, rightfully say that, IQ isn't necessarily a good measure of intelligence. It's just one way to measure intelligence.
I don't know my IQ. I've never taken a test.
My IQ is like 280.
I truly believe that you're a member of Mensa.
It's like two Einsteins.
Yeah. He's a genius. He seriously is. He's too humble to take a test.
Yeah, that's what it is. I just don't want to embarrass anybody.
Oh, I know.
How dare you?
The Wake Up America show brought to you by listeners by you. Hey, we just got an order of an AP for Liberty shop. Let's get an applause.
What did they buy? I always say, what did they buy?
The comeback with a warrant doormat. Yes.
It's going to be so happy.
Oh, wait.
You have to tell her.
It's not hers. It's not hers.
Oh.
It's the flower one.
Okay.
Oh,
so, funny story. My mom was visiting us last weekend, and Austin was designing some products, and my mom just loved his comeback with a warrant with the snake, the snake on it, and it's yellow.
She was helping me decide what color, where to put the snake,
yeah,
all that stuff.
Yeah, and she just loved that doormat, and she built an attachment towards it, and she's like, Austin, you have to tell me when it sells.
Yes.
She's like, it has to sell. People are gonna like it.
Yes.
She really believes in this doormat.
So it's not just a doormat, it's also like a giant, it's like you can get it once in like an area
Yeah, it's
mat
like a
size
patio rug.
Yeah, we've got one that's like a big giant, come
Excuse me,
back
I'm
with a
sorry.
warrant. That's okay. Patio rug size and stuff. That's the one that my mother-in-law helped me to design. But the one that just sold was
With the flowers.
the one with the flowers on
Oh,
it, which
yeah.
is like our
Yeah.
most popular come back
Yep.
with a warrant, which I think is kind of cute, because it's like, pretty beautiful flowers, but come back with a warrant. So, right.
Mhm.
So apforlibertyshop.com.
Yeah.
We've had an exciting week on the shop. Yesterday
Oh, we
was
have.
yesterday was a crazy day. Like
Mhm.
our phones were going ba-ching, ba-ching, ba-ching.
I know, and my phone gives me notifications first.
Oh, Stephanie, it ticks me off. I don't know if it's an iPhone thing or something like that, but Stephanie gets the notifications whenever we make a sale before I do. And she's like, and it makes me so mad because she like tells me before I get to hear the cha-ching, and I'm just like,
Well, I
oh,
try not to tell him. I'm like,
I know.
then
No,
he
that
can
she,
tell I'm
no, you
reacting.
don't. You go, I won't tell you what's happening. And then I already know what's happening, Stephanie. It's that somebody but it was because Not the Bee, the Babylon Bee's sister
Yeah.
site, wrote an article
Oh,
about
we're
us
very
this week.
thankful to
Oh,
them.
super thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
been
I don't know anybody from there.
Yeah, apforlibertyshop.com, killing it. That is our path to sustainability, growth, and all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff. We're just really
That's
excited
right.
about how people are responding to the shop. So
Hopefully we'll get some inspiration in Japan for
Mhm.
some new merch.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm sure we will. We're gonna have
Mhm.
some time off to kind of not think about things for a little while, even though we can't really
We're
run.
gonna think about
Yeah,
things. I know we are.
we can't run away things, but we will
No,
be in a hot private bath in the onsen in the Japanese ryokan, and at that point in time, I'm sure we will not be thinking about work.
that's
We'll
right.
be thinking about
Picture us.
things.
Picture us naked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't picture us naked, Stephanie. Good
Well, we
God.
can't wear bathing
You can
suits.
picture me naked, but if you picture Stephanie naked, I will kick your ass. How
How
dare you?
dare you?
All right, let's move on, Stephanie. Talk about the news. They didn't come to hear about us being naked. Congressman duped. Oh God, this one was pretty
This is
funny. You
embarrassing.
couldn't figure out how this happened. So take a listen. Florida State Representative read somebody pranked him. Republican Will Robinson Jr. read a list of people into the record aloud, including dirty fake names during the House Civil Justice Committee hearings. Let's take a listen to Mr. Robinson. And here's to you.
Waves in opposition. Anita Dick is an opponent. Waves in opposition. Holden Hiscock is also an opponent. Waves in opposition. Anita Dick is an opponent.
What just happened?
Waves in opposition. Holden Hiscock is also an opponent. Waves in opposition. Anita Dick.
And the way he's saying them, he's like slowing down the words to make it sound even more like
Anita
what they're
Dick.
trying to be. Right, he
Waves in
should say
opposition.
Anita Dick. And then it doesn't
And
sound
Holden
so bad.
Hiscock during the
Holden Hiscock.
Yeah, Will Robinson Jr. read a list of names of people into the record aloud. Anita Dick, he read in an opponent, waves in opposition. Holden Hiscock is also an opponent, waves in opposition.
Don't
Yeah,
name your children these things.
yeah,
Please don't.
yeah. Committee. So apparently he got the joke afterwards and he had a pretty good sense of humor about it.
Oh,
So
that's good.
after the video circulated, he invited Miss Dick and Mr. Hiscock to stop by at the next meeting.
Aw.
Yes, he said.
Just wonder who did this to him and if they're going to get in trouble.
Someone named Bart Simpson apparently pulled this off.
Sure,
Right,
sure.
right. I need Amanda Hug and Kiss. Excuse me. I need
Is it a Simpsons episode?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's like famous. Bart in the early episodes of The Simpsons, Bart was famous for calling like the tavern and Moe's Tavern. This is like, when you were a baby. Pulling off pranks like that. I need Amanda Hug and Kiss.
It's kind of like sending messages through names. Like there was that one commercial that was like, I had a baby eats a boy. This is a collect
I
call
had a
from
baby eats
I
a
had a
boy.
baby eats a boy.
Yes.
But it was really relaying a message.
Hugh Jass. I need Hugh Jass. What about Mike Hunt? Mike
Oh gosh.
Hunt. That's another good one.
I used to feel so bad for the kids in school that had the last name of Wiener. I really did have a boy in class that had a last name
Do
of
you
Wiener.
remember the Anthony Weiner scandal?
Yeah.
The New York congressman who got busted. He was like married to Hillary Clinton's like aide, Huma Abedin, and like he got busted for sending his wiener to everybody. I mean,
You're just destined.
that was the story of the century. And I remember I was working at Fox News at the time when that story was breaking.
Mhm.
And it was, I mean, if ever in your life you wanted to be working at a news organization, especially like a right wing, like conservative news org, that was the time to be doing it because that was when like the push for Obamacare was going down, and Anthony Weiner was out on camera in C-SPAN. He was a congressman, and he's out there, ripping on the Republicans for not wanting to provide health care for people and all this kind of stuff. And he was like, the Democrats were like, "Oh, he's a hero, Anthony Weiner. We love Weiner. We want Weiner. Weiner, Weiner, Weiner." And then like the scandal broke, and we found out that Anthony Weiner had been flashing his wiener all over town, had been sending the pictures of his wiener out to everybody. Sorry for the last show, guys. It's going to be maybe a little bit more PG-13 this morning, but so we're going to be talking about wieners, but
Lots of wieners.
lots of
Yeah.
wieners this morning. I know.
No, God, please, no.
First time I heard his name, I thought Huge Jackman was fake. That's very funny.
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
Yes. Andy Opperman says we had a guy whose last name was Dick Baseball.
What?
He's we had last guy whose last name was Dick. Period. Baseball was a hoot.
Oh.
So and so up, so and so on deck, and Dick in the hole. High comedy for sixth graders and for 42-year-old men and their wives.
Back in the day, the name Dick was really popular.
It was, yeah.
Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Tom, Dick, and Harry, yes. Like the Dick Van Dyke Show,
Yeah.
right? It used to be if you were Richard, then you were a Dick.
We should name our future son Dick. We should bring it back again.
That's a great idea,
Yeah.
Stephanie. Let's just call him a
Be
Dick.
old school.
Yeah, well, how about this? We can call him Wiener Dick. His middle name can be Wiener, and his last name can be Dick.
Yeah, his nickname could be Wiener.
What a
Yeah.
great name. What a great name. You can text the show today at 573-319-5186. That's 573-319-1586. Let's give it up for our crowd over there on Rumble this morning. Good morning, Rumble.
Yay, Rumble.
We love to see you guys. We're glad to have you here. Rumble has been growing. Sometimes the Rumble numbers are actually bigger than the YouTube numbers, which is cool to see. Very exciting.
Mhm.
Nice to see our Cantina crew over on YouTube as well.
Hello, Cantina.
And I haven't checked to see if our friend Todd in Minnesota is joining us over on Twitch. Yeah, because we've had some of our friends over on Twitch lately. It's been great to see them.
I just resubmitted on Twitch. I subscribed to your channel using my Amazon Prime.
Right. So
Yeah.
this is a way for people, if you have Amazon Prime, to be able to support the show financially without having to like really pay anything extra.
I didn't pay anything.
Yeah, you don't have to pay anything. So it's real briefly, if you're watching us over on Twitch, looks like we got a couple people watching. If you're watching us on Twitch, you can use your Amazon Prime to give a free subscription to someone on Twitch.
Yep.
And it's like $3 or $4 or something that's like drops in the tip jar. So we'd be super grateful if you have Amazon Prime.
You have to do it on a computer. You can't do it on a phone because
Yeah.
I've tried.
Yeah. So it's not super complicated, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do in the world. But anyways, so grateful to all of our supporters over there on Twitch this morning because we do have a few people watching us. Thank you very much for your support, and we look forward to seeing you when we get back from the break, which will be back on the 7th of April.
Are we really going to be doing a live video on that Friday after we got our...
I might try.
we're getting back at 11 o'clock at night.
Are we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, like, I'll miss the crew, so maybe. Can I say maybe?
We'll be in our jammies.
Yeah, we'll be in our jammies. If we do, we come back for Freedom Friday, Family Friday on the 7th, then we'll be a little bit tired and jet lagged, but we'll do our best.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll be there. If you're coming, I'm coming.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. See, isn't that a supportive wife? And I can't wait to talk about that a little bit later, about supportive wives and what they can do for you. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Laid off workers are calling out their former employers on social media, and the death of non-disparagement clauses could make it the norm. So last month, the NLRB, that's the National Labor Relations Board,
Okay.
they ruled that employers can no longer include non-disparagement clauses in severance agreements with employees. So non-disparagement agreements would stop you from sharing your negative thoughts or experiences with the company in exchange for a few months' salary. So you
Right.
no longer be able to do that,
So
right?
they're like, here's money, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
If federal courts uphold this decision, then it would invalidate these clauses from severance agreements. So it seems kind of like, like just a boring little thing, but it could have major consequences for employers and employees because
Yeah.
if you go out and you disparage a former employee, if you see that publicly, you may not be as willing to hire somebody after that, right? So
Absolutely.
sometimes, like those kinds of agreements can protect you as much as they protect an employer. I know a lot of the people who are on the employee side of things are kind of like, oh well, this is us fighting against big corporations and stuff like that. But I'm like,
Right.
well, you make yourself not necessarily look all that great when you go out there and you talk trash about your former boss.
I see it comparable to sad fishing, to be quite honest.
Yeah, tell me.
It puts a bad taste in my mouth when I see people talking about work,
Hmm.
bad mouthing coworkers, bad mouthing bosses. You know what? That's not very professional.
Hmm.
And your future employers are probably going to see those posts.
Yeah, well, so I mean, go on. You were talking about this a little bit more last night. Feel free to extrapolate.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the whole social media trend, everybody is just so open and honest and transparent,
Mhm.
and it's just like we share everything about our life online. That's not how life used to be. We used to actually be private about stuff, and we used to actually be professional at work. Now professionalism has just gone out the window, in
Mhm.
my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Now, in terms of like whether or not it should be legal to be able to do something like that, I do think that you should be able to engage in those kinds of private contracts with people, especially
Sure,
because
it's like a
it's
non-disclosure agreement,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, to an extent. So, but
Yeah,
here's the thing: I if I want if I want to be able to get an extra few months' salary,
yeah.
I would be willing to say I won't say anything unkind about
Yeah, and
you.
it's like a few months, so it's okay. After 3 months, then you can badmouth them? Like, what's the
Exactly.
big deal? Really don't understand this whole time frame thing.
Well, yeah, it's
How
like
does it make it any better if you badmouth them several months later?
that's what I wonder, right? It doesn't make
Right.
much sense to me because after
Yeah.
that 3-month period, right? It's not like you have to worry about getting the money that you've agreed with the employer, so you can say whatever you want,
Right.
right? But I
You could
mean,
still make them look bad.
yeah, I wonder what our
Yeah.
audience thinks about this topic. Send us a text.
Maybe they're just hoping that by that time you're gonna be decompressed and in a new job and
Probably,
not wanting to talk about it anymore because it's not
yeah.
relevant.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, because especially because if you're laid off, for example, like you're probably going to be in that emotional state where you want to go rush to TikTok or Facebook if TikTok's not banned
Yeah.
and say, oh, all these terrible things about your employer. But after 3 months, I would say, sure, it's probably beyond that period where you feel the need to go out there and to try and, just besmirch the character of your former boss or whatever it is,
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's still just it's not my cup of tea. I'm never going to do it,
Yeah.
with or without an agreement.
For sure. Quest Fanning says when someone calls for references, you need to be careful and not say anything negative, even if they totally sucked. Yeah, that's another thing.
Yes, because sometimes they'll say, "So why did you leave your last job? Tell
Hmm.
us about that." And it's like a trick question.
Yeah, yeah, to see what you say. Yeah, it's something you got to
Mhm.
be careful for. Quest says a non glowing review is the only way to tell that the former employee probably sucked, right? So the question is, how do you sort of do something like that without disparaging them? You would have to just be like, they completed the tasks that were given to them 75% of the time, right?
So this is the boss talking about the
Yes, yes. So if you're an
oh,
employer and somebody asks for references,
uh-huh.
right, you can't because of how litigious people are, you want to be very careful about what you say about someone
So
because they
they
could
can't badmouth their prior employee.
right, right, right. So
Oh.
that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Chris Morrill says, I've been besmirching one particular former boss for 13 years. She deserves it, and I'm only going to do it until I die. That's hilarious.
Actually, I have a good healthy boss story. I mean, I left the hospital system a few years ago when I moved here to Missouri.
Hmm.
And my boss, my last boss, just reached out to me actually and wanted to talk about, professional stuff. And I'm so glad that I maintained a good relationship with her
Hmm.
because you never know when your boss might ask you for help in the future or when you might
Oh,
need some
yeah, that's
help.
right. Yeah, this
It's
was an
good to
interesting
stay
story.
civil.
Steffi was really happy the other
I was
day.
really
Tell the
touched.
story. Yeah, go ahead. I think it's
Well, I
an
don't know
interesting
how much
story.
I can really divulge
Sure.
about it,
Right.
but basically, in the world of social work, it's nice to network. We're all about community and sharing advice and resources, and so yeah. So my old boss was just interested in the job that that I do now in the telehealth world, and we were just, sharing stories and advice, and it was just really nice to have somebody to talk to.
Yeah, because I mean, what you do as a social worker is pretty like rare in the community. Most people who
Yeah,
become social workers either go and work for like the state, the government, or something like that. But
right.
you are in private practice.
Yeah, I do therapy
Right, so you do
online.
private practice working from home,
Mhm.
and so it's kind of like a coveted position to an extent, right? But
Very much so.
not a lot of
I've
social
I've
workers are.
tapped into a secret part of the industry.
It sure has. I mean,
Yes.
Stephanie and I really are like, living the life that we want to
Mhm.
live right now in a sense because, I
Absolutely.
love doing this show and owning my means of production, right? I
Mhm.
love being able to, work the hours that I want to work and build the life that I want to build around this community that we're building with the show.
Yeah.
I was talking to what do you call them, an agency the other day because I've been looking at hiring people to do just like sort of like certain administrative tasks around the website and the shop and all this stuff that are like
Yeah.
really highly technical. And so when I was talking to them the other day, I was telling them, okay, this is how AP for Liberty Shop runs. This is how the ecosystem works. And it was, I said, this is how many emails we have. This is how many, this is how we do this. This is how we do that. And they were like, do you create any content? And I'm like,
Do I create content? Are
do
you
I create?
kidding me?
Yeah, I go. Yeah, I do a
Can you
two.
Google Austin
Yeah,
Peterson?
yeah. They of course they have no idea who I am. And I go. Yeah, I do a 2 hour morning show 5 days a week. They're
Right.
like, you create 10 hours of content every week. They're we like we are trying like pulling. It's like pulling teeth trying to get any of our clients to create
And
any
then they're
content.
like, here, pay us thousands of
And then
dollars.
they're like, here's an $8,000 proposal, and maybe we'll be able to make you some money, but most likely you're going to spend $8,000 to make $2,000. Right?
Right.
That's what most agencies are like these days.
Well, at least they're
Yeah.
honest.
Well, no, 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 no.
It's like you're not going to get your money back.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I have to go and find freelancers that I can, pay poverty wages.
That's right.
Anyways, but so we'll talk about that stuff a little bit later. It's the big story today. The big story.
Story.
Yeah, the women's cycling champion.
Literally big, muscular.
Giant bulging package.
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas wins a cycling race. She is a scientist who
Yeah, that's so interesting.
yeah, isn't that
She's a smart
fascinating?
person.
Right? She celebrated her victory on Instagram. She said she felt like a superhero.
Yeah, and her
Right.
suit.
Yes, but the debate over transgender inclusion has intensified because, of course, Tiffany was born.
A man.
Was
Yeah.
she?
No, Tiffany was one man.
Tiffany was born man. Yes.
Now she's a she.
Now she's a
Yes,
she.
yes.
Yes. So her victory was. I don't know. To me, I think it rings hollow. But for her, she was out there celebrating. But she's got a lot of people
Everybody
upset.
looked happy in the photo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they looked happy. Oh yeah, but they weren't that happy. Well, here's the thing. It's like if you have a gun to your back,
Yeah.
right? It's just like it's kind of like in the former Soviet Union, right? You'd be like, oh, Stalin, and the first person that sits down gets executed,
Oh,
right? Did you know this story?
no.
Yeah. So in the former Soviet Union, whenever Joseph Stalin would give a speech, everybody would stand up to applaud, and the first person to sit down and stop clapping would be taken away to the gulag.
Did they know that
No,
before they sat down?
I don't know, but like
This could be
everybody
like a
else,
game show.
right? So
Like
there,
you have to keep
so there's
standing.
a famous story of like Stalin applause.
Oh, this is horrible.
Yes, Stalin applause. Did people really clap for 11 minutes after Stalin? Yeah, here we go. Here's the story.
I
This is
can hold
fascinating.
up for 13 minutes. That's my record.
Did people really clap? Lusty applause for Stalin. How true is it? The men who won't stop clapping, the Stalin clapping test. Yeah, the Stalin clapping test. Stalin.
Now that's a narcissist.
Yeah.
Stalin was a narcissist.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Well, I mean, he was an evil murderous dictator,
Clap
right?
for me.
Here we go.
Plebes.
Here we go. When Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin finished his speech at a Communist Party conference in 1937, this was the height of the Great Terror. 1 million people were executed on Stalin's orders.
Because they sat down?
No.
Oh.
He was just murdering people all over the place. He was murdering, anybody who had anybody. They would murder people who wore glasses because they thought they were intellectuals. They murdered Jews because they owned shops and they were merchant class people. So here's the story. So Soviet dictator finished his speech at a Communist Party conference in 1937. The Politburo, which is kind of like the bureaucracy, and other attendees jumped to their feet and began clapping. And they clapped and they clapped and clapped until the ovation was deafening because everybody was scared to death of being the first person to stop.
Please clap.
Yeah, Alexander Solzhenitsyn described it. The applause went on 6, 7, 8 minutes. They were done for. Their goose was cooked.
Oh
They
my
couldn't stop now till they collapsed with heart attacks. Yeah, at the rear of the
That's right.
hall, which was crowded, they could, of course, cheat a bit, clap less frequently, less vigorously.
It'd be like a slow
Yeah.
clap.
But up there in the with the Presidium where everyone could see you, the director of the local paper factory, he stood with the Presidium, but he kept on applauding, even as ridiculous as it got. 10 minutes.
Oh, it hurts. Oh my
Right.
gosh, your hands would be like so itchy.
Yep.
Sometimes, like when I'm clapping, I literally have to put my fist in my hand
But
because it hurts so bad.
so after 11 minutes, the director of the paper factory assumed a businesslike expression and sat down on his seat, right? And then a miracle took place. Where had the universal, uninhibited, indescribable enthusiasm gone? To a man, everyone else stopped dead and sat down. They had been saved.
Oh, thank God.
But that night, the paper factory director, the first man to stop clapping, was arrested and imprisoned for 10 years.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't killed, but he was still in confinement.
They sent him to the gulag for 10 years for being the first person to sit down.
Gulag.
Right. So
The thing that you got banned for.
yeah, exactly. Let's see if I can pull up the picture of the happy cyclists onto our Twitter scene here for our listeners so they can see what I'm talking about here.
The trans woman, she looks really feminine.
No.
Yeah, I mean her body looks a little smaller.
Nah, son. I ain't trying to hear that. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see. There we go. They can pull it. They can see it right now. There's what we're talking about. So the ladies look really happy. Yay.
I do.
Yay. You took away our championship. Because the lady who's in second place right there, she would have been first place
Yes.
if she had been allowed to compete against other women. Right? Okay. So we can switch back from
And the woman who was in, what was it, fourth place? Said she actually stepped down from cycling and she retired.
Yeah, so
she's just fed up with this.
And that's the thing, right? So a former women's cycling champion, she quit the sport after she lost to this Tiffany person, and she quit her cycling career. She said in her last race, she came in fourth place, flanked on either side by male riders award third and fifth places.
Okay, so she wasn't on that podium there. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
She says her sister and family sobbed as they watched a man finish in front of me.
I mean, I can understand. They're exhausted from all that practice, all that hard work.
Well, here's the thing: they watch when you're cycling, you're jockeying for position, you're elbowing other riders, right?
Really?
They're right
I
next
didn't
to you.
know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. So it's not like you're just like racing out there all by yourself. When you're in a bicycle race, like you are right there, pumping.
It's like you're in the roller derby or something.
Yeah, to an extent, right? So here's the thing. So she was in fourth place. She would have been up there on the podium if it wasn't for the man. She was having to jockey for position against a man who was pushing against her and knocking her out of the position in order to be able to win this race, right?
Yeah.
It's like you've probably never seen the South Park episode, but there's one where it's like Macho Man Randy Savage, and he decides that he's a woman, even though he hasn't like even tried to transition, and he just goes out there and just absolutely dominates just crushes all these women in all these competitions and stuff. But Tiffany Thomas, she doesn't care. She's out there. She's got I'm looking at this picture of her package. She's got a big old bulge out of her bicycle shorts and stuff.
Oh, okay. So she hasn't had bottom surgery yet.
It doesn't look like it from what I can tell here. But, more and more women are starting to fight back, and they're complaining. They're saying that they don't think that this is right.
I was actually researching it because we actually had a conversation with Sarah Higdon not too long ago about this very topic. Back when, what was her name? Leah Thomas?
Leah Thomas, the swimmer.
She had won. And I was like, okay, how different are male and female bodies? How different is a trans woman from a cisgender woman? And so it was really just boggling my mind. And Sarah Higdon said that the closest you can get a trans woman to the body type of a cisgender woman would be if you start transitioning before puberty. Because during puberty is when all of, the bone structure and muscle mass,
which is what a lot of people, including me, are trying to prevent, people from doing to kids.
Right. And so then I just looked up some statistics as well about the differences. So researchers found that transgender women had about 40% greater muscle mass than cisgender women. Moreover, they were about 19% stronger and had 20% greater cardiopulmonary capacity.
Mhm.
But by NCAA and Olympic rules, these women are allowed to compete. So, I mean, they admit that it really isn't fair and balanced.
Right. And it's
They have advantages.
right. And Caleb sent me the South Park clip, and I would totally play it. The problem is that they take down like and demonetize your stream if you do it. I can let's see if I can't play the audio. Yeah, I won't be able to do that, unfortunately. Just they're gonna knock us off and demonetize us.
Doing an artistic variation of the viewing where we're reacting, is that considered
You know,
something? I don't
it's
know.
better not. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, we don't
So
want to get shut down.
yeah, we don't want to get shut down
Yeah.
on there. But anyways, so what do you think about this, Stephanie? I mean, just from your own personal point of view, like women, biological males, right? Spent their entire life as males. They're not, they transitioned. I mean, she just started biking like
Yeah,
6
this
years
is
ago.
kind of the comical part. She just started biking back in 2018 and she's already won over 20 races.
Mhm.
And she's 47 years old. So she started biking in her 40s, which
Right.
is very uncommon. Most of these women she's competing with are in their 20s and 30s.
Hmm.
So it's like physically she should not be stronger than these younger women.
Right. Right. I was talking to last week when we went and met with my dad and his girlfriend and Mario and them. So that I was talking to his girlfriend Faye, and excuse me. She brought that up where we were talking about like female athletes in sports
Okay.
and detransitioning and stuff like that. I don't know if you heard us just
No, I
talking about that.
didn't. I was in my own world, I
Well,
guess.
yeah, yeah, you were talking to somebody else. I was like, we were talking about whether or not males should be able to compete against females in sports,
Yes.
biological males,
Yes.
and I said that I was for it, and she was like gobsmacked, right? Like, what? What do you mean? And I was like, women have been taking men's positions in, academia and in sports and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like,
Mhm.
this is largely a feminist movement that has been advocating for this. I was like, so I think that we ought to, give women what they're asking for to an extent. Now, conservative women get really mad when they hear me say that because they're like, well, we aren't feminists and we aren't in favor of all this stuff and all
Right,
that
they're
kind of stuff.
trad
No,
wives.
no, they're not.
They
No,
want men to overpower them.
no, no, no. If you're speaking to a trad wife on the internet,
Mhm.
she's not a trad wife. All right.
Uh-oh, I guess I'm not a trad wife.
No, well, no, not in the sense that trad wife really means
Yeah.
trad wife. If you were really a trad wife, you would be spending your time either in the kitchen or in the garden, right?
I tweet while I'm in the kitchen.
Exactly, exactly. Trad wives stay off of the internet because it's a den of iniquity and evil, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, so they say, oh well, we don't support it and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, like, would you say that the majority of young women, if they're, let's say they're in their 20s, right? Would you say that the majority of women who are in their 20s will identify as feminists?
Oh, probably with this new generation. Yeah.
Right, right, for sure. So, if they, this is, would you agree with me? And there really isn't necessarily a lot of data for this. This is just me supposing. But would you agree with my supposition that the majority of people who are in favor of biological males competing as females would be women, biological females, largely feminists, who are advocating for this and think that it's okay and good and are pushing for it? Or would you say it's majority of men who want this?
Hmm. I mean, yeah, I really have no idea. I think it's just the new generation in general. Both
My
men and women
right.
probably want it
I don't think most men.
because they're socialized to be that way nowadays. Just very inclusive and accepting
Well,
of everybody.
yeah, but I think that the men who are saying that are only saying it to try and get laid, right? But I think that
The simps.
yeah, the simps,
Yeah.
right? So my supposition is that largely the reason why we have a push for biological males to be in sports is because of the ideology of these largely Marxist feminists who wish to push their gender ideology and in trans inclusiveness, right, which comes from as a portion of feminism, that they are advocating for this, and therefore they asked for it, they should get it.
Yeah, because I think everyone just wants fairness and
Right.
equality nowadays. So we're just like, we're completely ignoring the differences between men and women. We're
Mhm.
starting to forget that men really are different than
Yes.
women. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus,
Yes.
right?
Right.
But the new generation is saying, "Oh no, we're so much more alike than we are different."
Hmm.
And so that's probably why they are pushing for just anybody to be competing with anybody, because they're like, "We can take it. We're strong. We have the same skills as everybody else."
Right, right. So I mean, it's kind of like, again, this question of female empowerment, right?
Mhm.
But the thing is that mm, when men have an issue, when men have a problem, nobody gives a shit. When women have a problem, people care.
Yeah, because they cry.
You cry,
Men cannot deny
right?
crying.
And when women cry, things
Yes.
get done.
Yes.
So I think that we need to allow women in this situation, because when I ask traditional conservative men, I ask them, like, should we, because this is largely a feminist movement advocating this, mostly young women who are advocating this gender ideology, should we protect women from the consequences of their poor decisions? They say to a man, they say yes, right?
Mhm.
Which is a very paternalistic attitude, right? And so eh, I'm not paternalistic, right? And I foresee a role of women, stepping up and taking a role in society, right?
Right.
So since I'm not paternalistic, I'll say that, you know what, women should have to bear the consequences of their poor decisions, just like men do. So that to me would be equality. But
Sure.
unfortunately, I think what happens is that we are insulating women from the consequences of their poor decisions. And that's what this push is,
Yeah.
right? And it dwells in the realm of this concept that I keep going back to, which is the question of the disposable male,
Right.
right? And so because we don't see females as disposable,
Mhm.
right? We rush to save them whenever, Captain Save-A-Ho shows up, the simps, right? To show them up, right? Oh, we gotta save her. And
Right.
I like that song. Sometimes you hear me singing it. It's a J. Cole song. It goes, "Don't save
Save
her.
her.
She don't want to be saved. Don't
Right,
save
right.
her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her." And boy, if there's one thing that really drives women insane,
Uh-huh.
is when you say, "You know what? Leave her alone. Let her make her decisions
Right.
for herself."
When she gets what she
And when she
wants.
yes, give
Yes.
her exactly what she wants. It reminds me of
Yeah.
that H.L. Mencken quote. "Democracy is the theory that the common man knows what he wants and deserves to get it good and hard." And so in this situation, this is the common feminist who is demanding it. And I think what'll happen is that they'll start having girls
Mm.
and having babies. And when they have babies and they have little girls and they watch these biological males as they compete, because these, young girls are the
Yeah.
ones mostly pushing this gender theory, they will realize the folly that they have engaged in.
I mean, I really think this is uncharted
Mhm.
territory. We're learning more
Mhm.
and more about biological differences every day.
Mhm.
So I think knowledge is power, and I
Mhm.
really hope that we can answer more questions about transgender individuals and how equal they really are to cisgender individuals, because I think a lot of people just don't know. They're just ignorant,
Right.
honestly.
Elizabeth Press has said something that I think is a really illuminating comment. She
Mhm.
says, "No sex if we not happy," which is actually a really good comment for especially young men who are out there who want to like date and have sort of things like
Uh-huh.
that. Men, if you can control your sex drive, right, and if you can hold yourself chaste to an extent,
Uh-huh.
and not need it, or in terms of female attention and things like that,
Right.
you will be way better off in your life,
Oh,
right? because
absolutely.
because it's the simps out there, the Captain Save-A-Hos,
Mhm.
right, who are the ones who are enslaved to the feminine, who will do anything that the woman says. Come and save the woman if she gets herself in this scenario or something like that.
Right.
And again, don't save her, right? She don't want to be saved. Like, if you don't need sex and if you can control yourself and work on yourself as a man, you will be much better off, right? Don't put the P word on a pedestal, is what I'm saying,
Mm.
right? So just when it comes to the question of biological females and males competing against one another in sports, it's ridiculous. It's obnoxious. It really shouldn't be allowed, but it will be allowed. And I think that it actually will be the kind of thing where it's a negative that will break through to a positive. Eventually, what'll happen is that
Yeah.
women are going to start getting injuries, right? And they're going to
The
start getting
more
hurt,
we learn and explore this issue,
right?
the more changes will be made.
Right. And if you think about it too, the misogynists, the true misogynists are not the paternalistic men who are out there trying to save women from this,
Mhm.
I don't think that they're the true misogynists. I don't think that like right-wing conservatives who are traditionalists are misogynist in the sense that they want to protect women from these decisions, right?
Mhm.
And their daughters from going out and having to play against men and having to put up with these situations.
Yeah.
I don't believe that those men are misogynists.
Mhm.
I believe the true misogynists are the men who will delight in watching women
Uh-huh.
being destroyed and
We'll
crushed
just let them
and
make
put
their
in
own
their place.
mistakes,
Right.
you
If
know?
you truly hate women,
Yeah.
then you want men competing against women on equal playing
Mhm.
terms, right? If you really hate women, give them equality.
You know what? It's the survival of the fittest that's always
Mm-hmm.
going to win.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
science,
Yeah.
biology.
Yep. Yep.
We
Yep.
can't
Yep.
deny it.
What do you think about this topic? See, my view on this one, it shocks people on
Mhm.
this because obviously I do believe, and some libertarians really get upset with me when I say this. I do think that it is the role of the government to prevent parents and friends from pressuring minors into gender reassignment surgery and hormones. Some libertarians are like, no, the government shouldn't be involved in all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, just like I got booed for saying you shouldn't be able to give heroin to 5-year-olds, I don't think
Mhm.
you ought to be able to give gender reassignment drugs, hormone drugs to
Yeah.
minors either.
I mean, I guess that would be a question about circumcision as well. Should the government be involved in circumcision
Shouldn't
decisions
be
as well?
well, here's the
Is
thing.
that child
In my
abuse?
opinion, yes, it is, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I do think circumcision is child abuse,
Yeah.
and I don't care what anybody has to say about that because
Right.
what I don't understand is why people are so obsessed with altering the genitals of children before they reach the age of attainment.
Right. It's like they're okay with that, but yet they're not okay with
Well, it's because
a
it's a
transitioning
religious
person.
ritual, right?
Right. So
S
religion
if you're a
goes
Muslim,
over.
right, if you're a Muslim,
Yeah.
then excuse me for using this term, but it's a medical clinical term here. But if you're a Muslim, then the female's clitoris needs to be destroyed because it is the object of pleasure,
Mm.
right? If you
Yeah, I
are
know in some
if you're
African
Right. If you're a Christian
countries
or a
they do that
Jew,
too.
if you're a Christian or a Jew, then it is a sign of the compact. With, at least if you're a Jew, it's a sign of your compact with
Mm.
Hashem. If you're a Christian, then it's typically not necessarily a religious ritual. It's more of a, well, my parents did it, so therefore
Yeah.
I must do it. But actually, the reason why American Christians do it is not necessarily because of even the whole question of why our parents did it, but it actually goes back to Harvey Kellogg and his brother, the Kellogg's, in from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, about the they're trying to make people not be sexual, so that's why they
Yes.
gave cornflakes to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So the reason why circumcision caught on in the United States is
Mhm.
because Harvey Kellogg and his brother told everyone and posited that this will help young boys
It's
stop them from engaging in
it decreases pleasure.
onanism,
It's true.
as
Yep,
we will
yep.
onanism. All
Oh,
right. So yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's so hard to really know what's right, what's wrong. I
Hmm.
mean, we're going to get into this when we talk about the racism, things that are racist. It's just
Hmm.
we've been doing bad things for most of history, for all of history. So it's like we've always made poor choices and hurt people throughout history.
Yep, yep, yep. You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. We'd love to hear from you this morning with your thoughts on this topic. Again, the topic you can send us in your thoughts in is 573-319-1586. Really briefly, Steffi, before we move on to the next topic, we got to talk about our friends over at Lear Capital.
Oh, great.
Time for a little disco dance, if you will.
Yes.
Yes. You dance with the chicken. I'll dance by myself. Mm-mm-mm. Do, 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 do. Right. So, why should you invest in gold today? And call our friends over at Lear Capital. Now, gold is all about diversification, right? So, in terms of being a smart investor, if you've already nailed down your stocks, bonds, mutual funds, right? Ask yourself, do you have diversification in your portfolio really? Well, all you've really got is paper, right?
Mhm.
And commodities like corn, wheat, oil, things like that. What are you going to do? Haul a big barrels of oil around your house? Oh, you can't do that, right? The nice thing about gold is that it can be moved around. It's easily transported. You can bury it in your backyard, and you can save it for a rainy day when the apocalypse comes and you're hanging out with Ron Paul in his happening bunker, right? Right.
I just had an idea.
What?
So I canceled my long-term disability insurance. I'm going to be saving over $500 a year. I can invest it in gold.
That's a great idea.
Because now I have money to save.
You know what? That's a great idea, Stephanie. And then we can actually own the physical metal.
That's cool.
But you know what?
I think that's a good idea.
You know what? That is a great idea.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what we should do, though? Probably rather than maybe the physical metals, because we have some of that.
I like the physical metal.
I know you do, but it might be a better idea for us to put it in like their IRA.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's probably.
It's any different than physical metals, really.
No, it's the same thing. So you actually are investing in the physical metal. You could take possession of it if you want at any time.
Okay.
But in order to gain a tax advantage status to it, you want to invest in a gold IRA. And then that $500 a year that you have, you could take if one day we're 60 years old and 70 years old, whatever, we want to retire, and we're like, you know what? Instead of cashing out, we want to take possession of our gold and give it to our kids, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a nice investment. Can you imagine what awesome parents we would be if at the end of our lives we give our kids a pile of gold, an arsenal of guns and ammunition, and then a big ton of cash? I mean, would that be the best parents ever?
I think so.
I think they would be awesome parents. It's a great idea.
Set them on a good path.
That's right. Call our friends over at Lear Capital today at 1-800-885-2175. That's 1-800-885-2175. They can't print more gold. They can print more paper. So
right.
give them a call.
That's why gold is so valuable,
That's right.
because there's not an infinite amount of it.
That's correct. Unless a gold meteorite would happen to hit Earth, in which case we'll all be extinct and the price of gold won't matter. You can also visit the website at Lear Austin. That's LearAustin.com. Visit the website, get a free gold and silver information packet. Just find out more information today by signing up for a free gold and silver packet, or give them a call. I highly recommend that you get it done, because more instability to come in the banking sector is what I'm
When I
hearing.
get back from Japan, I definitely want to learn more about it
Let's do
to
it.
find out how I can invest my new savings.
You know what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll visit the website today, and
Yep.
we'll go ahead and have them send you the gold and silver
And then
information
it'll be
packet.
here by the time we come
and
back.
it'll be here by the time we get back.
Yep.
What do you think about that? All right. So let's move on, Stephanie. We need to take a little quick pee break. What do you say, Steph? You ready to go to the bathroom, and then we'll be right back? And when we come back, we're going to talk about a list of things that are racist.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go take a very brief little commercial break. When we get back, a long list of things that are now racist. So be ready to genuflect. When we get back.
Genuflect.
I need $5 from Camellia on that when we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today.
Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.
Take a drink, Steffi. Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Peterson, and you are watching me with my lovely wife, Stephanie P. How you doing, Steffi?
Hi, I'm good.
Enjoying
I'm
some delicious
hydrated.
water, getting hydrated.
Yes.
Yes, I like how the hair light that's on you also helps highlight the rooster in the video. You can see
The rooster has beautiful blonde locks.
You're zooming in. There we
Yes.
go. Yes. Look at that. See how it's got them all like highlighted there? It's very beautiful. That's it.
Magical chicken.
Magical rooster.
This chicken really does provide me a lot of happiness.
For sure. And if you want to sleep with something, it's probably better to sleep with me. But number two, a stuffed animal versus a dog or a cat. Yes. According to a new study, apparently sleeping with pets may disrupt your sleep.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you read this story yesterday, didn't you?
I did.
For sure. It's
So cats and dogs.
yeah, cats
they
and
affect
dogs.
your sleep, but
Yeah.
in different ways.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Mhm.
Apparently cats are more active at night.
Mhm.
And I was reading that if you sleep with cats, you're more likely to snore and to have leg jerks. Like what's up with that?
Toxoplasmosis.
Yeah, like why are you like jerking your legs while
Right.
your cat is on
Right,
you?
toxo. Pets can offer a sense of security and comfort, but sharing a bed with them may lead to wakeful nights, according to a new study. It found that dog owners were more likely to have a sleep disorder and trouble sleeping. Cat owners had greater odds for having leg jerks at night.
Yeah.
Have you noticed I kind of have those little jerks and stuff like that? Have you ever noticed me like kind of waking up with to a jerk every once in a
I know
while?
a lot of people get restless leg syndrome. My
Yeah.
mom gets it where like when she's tired, her legs just start moving a lot. And
Yeah.
mine too.
Mhm.
I just, need to like just lay down.
What I
My
found
legs
is
can't sit
the
still.
reason why that happens in my mind is because of lack of exercise, right? Is that you've got to wear yourself out so that
Yes.
you don't deal with that as much. But I'll anecdotally, when we sleep, we allow the dogs to sleep with us during a nap, right?
Nap time in the afternoon.
Which is not quite as consequential as sleeping at night.
Yeah. I mean, taking naps in the afternoon, I was just reading an article saying that you shouldn't take naps because then it messes up your nighttime sleep.
Well, but we have to be in bed by like 8 o'clock, so it's
I
like,
know.
it's not like it's going to change like our schedule anyway.
Mm.
So while the new research doesn't prove that pets cause the sleep issues, or even that they were sleeping in their owners' beds rather than wandering the house at night, it does point to a link. So they looked at sleep factors, including feeling unrested, not getting enough shut eye, taking longer than 15 minutes to fall asleep, and averaging less than 6 hours of sleep a night. So after they controlled for variables, the research found that dog owners were more likely to have sleep apnea and other sleep disorders. A greater percentage needed medication to sleep and woke feeling unrested, the study found. Cat owners, meanwhile, were more likely to snore.
Like, what's up with
I
that?
have no idea. They also were more likely to have trouble falling asleep and staying asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that odd?
It is. I mean, okay, when you're gone out of the house, like if you're away on a trip,
Mhm.
I keep the dogs in the room with me.
Mhm.
I let them sleep with me just because then I feel safe. So
Mhm.
I know in that article it does say animals provide you with comfort and security, which is a good thing. But then the bad part is, for example, it depends how big your dog is.
Mhm.
I mean, Kelvin is 40 pounds. He's like a bowling ball.
Yeah.
And he kind of rolls right into you.
Mhm.
So if you move, he moves. And so when it's me, you, and Kelvin in the bed, sometimes he sneaks up at night.
Do you let your dog sleep with you, Nate? No. See, your dogs are huge. Oh, okay. But
Okay.
now that you got a partner,
So dogs replace partners.
yeah, they can.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, but dogs will like push you out of bed. Like one of the things, like before you came
Mhm.
around, Calvin would sometimes sleep in bed with me, and he would like put his paws on my back and like push me over
Talk
and
about
stuff,
leg
push
jerks.
me out of
He
the way.
has leg jerks.
Yeah, he does. He has yeah,
Yes.
and then he also goes in the middle of the night when he's dreaming, he'll just start barking and like making all kinds of noise. He goes,
That's a really good.
Is a pretty good impression of
Yes,
Calvin. Thank
yes.
you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and I get really hot when Kelvin is next to me too.
Mhm.
And then it's like I have to contort my body
Mhm.
because it's like when it's him and you and I'm sandwiched in between, then I'm like,
Yeah.
becoming like a pretzel and then I just can't get comfortable.
Yeah. Elizabeth Press says people sleep with their kids. Worst idea ever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Not
I
great.
mean, especially babies.
Yeah.
Because then you can smother them by
That's true.
accident.
That's true. But
That's kind
also,
of scary.
yeah, like Quest Fanning says, terrible for your sex life. Yeah, bad idea.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Even if your husband snores, stay in bed with him.
Sleep with him. Yeah.
Yes. That is my best piece of advice. Don't do separate beds.
There you go. So what can we conclude from this? Sleeping with your pets is probably a bad idea. Sharing a bed with your pets is a bad idea, right? So cats are active at night. Dogs, I have no idea why they would do that.
I
So.
know. Poor little George.
Poor little George. It's hilarious how he fakes being asleep.
I know. Every time I move him to his crate at night, he literally starts snoring immediately and he like collapses on the bed.
Yeah, so Steffi will like come to like grab George because he'll come lay next to me for a few minutes before
Uh-huh.
we go to sleep, and Steffi will come in to take him to go to his crate, and he like flops and goes and pretends like he's sleeping like
His
a
eyes
little
are
boy.
open.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah. Exactly. He's like, I'm asleep, Mom. I'm asleep. Right? He's totally not. Do you? I wonder if anybody in the chat actually does let their pets sleep with them. I'd be curious if you have a cat or a dog. Let us know. Mhm.
A lot of people. And pets sleep in really weird positions. Like some people have their pets like on their head. George likes to sleep on my chest. He
Yeah.
likes that skin to skin contact.
Yeah, he does. That's very funny. When we had a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel back in the day, Dad would sit up in his easy chair, and the Spaniel would crawl up on his shoulders and wrap itself around his head,
Oh my
like one of those airplane pillows and stuff. And that's how it liked it, and it would sleep up there.
Yes.
Pretty funny though. A funny, hilarious.
Cats wake people up in really crazy ways. Like they'll start biting your fingers.
Oh yeah.
They become aggressive when you're sleeping.
We need to hear from Chris Morrill on this one. Do you sleep with your cats?
Oh yeah, don't you have like
Yeah.
7 cats?
Chris Morrill says, well, with cats, you can't exactly stop them, right?
You can't stop them?
You can't stop them from sleeping with you.
Why?
We had a cat when I was
What?
when I was in college and I lived off campus. We had a cat that lived in our house, and if I didn't let the cat like have the run of the house,
Yeah.
it would wake you up. So it would be at the door.
Right. And they start pawing
And they
at
would
the
paw
door.
underneath the door.
Yes.
And then it would come in, and then it would promptly try to smother you and suffocate you to death, right?
Oh
So
my,
you
and
try
then
to
it would eat you.
and then it would eat you
Oh
alive.
my
It eat you
gosh.
while you're,
It's
yes.
terrifying.
Smothering is a myth, says Brian Lewis. No, it's lies.
Oh,
It's
people can
true.
really smother their children while
No,
they're sleeping
God,
on them.
please,
Well, that's true. No, I think he's talking about a cat smothering.
Oh, okay.
Because it was it was a rumor for a long time that if you had a cat, you didn't want to let them be around babies because they would smother your baby.
Sure.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Anna Marie. Good morning, Anna Marie.
Hey, Anna
Hi,
Marie.
Anna. Nice to see you. She says, when I had a cat, they actually helped me with my insomnia because she would lay on my chest and I would be so focused on staying still that I would fall asleep. LOL. My cat was super chill, though.
So many people are allergic to cats. I think that's
Yeah.
the hard thing about them.
Yeah, for sure. Barney Styles says that the cats allow me to sleep in their bed. Very funny.
I've slept on the floor with my dog in the past before.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because he was really disabled. He had a spinal cord disorder and he became increasingly paralyzed. And so I would sleep with him on the floor just to keep him comfortable so he didn't try to walk the house at night.
Well, that's different. You
Yeah.
know, when you get in that situation, I could completely understand that one here. But anyway, so the study results are preliminary. It's not science, but
Yes.
the author of the study did say that she wouldn't widely recommend people keep their pets out of their bedrooms, especially if they have a strong attachment. She says, on an individual level, if you're having trouble sleeping, something you might consider trying is separating your pet from your bed or your bedroom, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's your emotional support animal, it
Mhm.
probably needs to stay with you.
Yeah, Al says, and cats learn quickly to doorknobs. Yeah, cats will mess
Oh
with
my
you, man.
gosh.
They will mess with you.
I
So,
think raccoons.
yeah, in some sense, I can see that.
Yes.
All right, it's time for us to move on to Is It Racist? No, I can't say that. That's Tosh. Tosh.0.
Oh, he has a segment.
Yeah, Tosh.0 has a segment called Is It Racist? And he
Okay.
would play clips of people and be like, is it racist? Yes or no?
Oh, well, we're not copying.
No, we're not copying,
Yep.
but we just have a list from our friends over at notthebee.com who were so generous and kind to feature us this month
Thank you,
on our
Not the Bee.
Caucasians. Yes, we appreciate Not the Bee very much.
Yep.
Thanks to them, we sold like 10 Caucasians t-shirts yesterday over at apforlibertyshop.com. So we salute you, Not the Bee. So when I was over there looking lovingly at my handiwork of getting our article placed on there, they did it without even me asking.
I know, it's amazing.
I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. So let me just read some other articles that they had. And one of these that I thought was pretty hilarious is this list of 28 everyday things that have now been labeled racist.
Okay.
And you're going to have to forgive me. I'm going to reveal that I've been lazy. And some of these things, it's not immediately obvious. It doesn't say exactly why they are racist.
Right.
And I was lazy and we've been busy packing and doing stuff. And so I didn't look up the reason why, but I will try and Google it while we're doing this. So
Yeah,
if I
because
don't
that
know
was
the
my
answer.
reaction. I'm like, how is this racist?
Exactly.
I
So
don't get it.
we'll try and figure out. But we do some of
Yeah.
the things are quite obvious because it says it in the headline. So things that are racist. Is the word picnic racist?
Picnic.
Picnic.
Okay, so
Picnic.
you sit on the grass and you have food.
Picnic
You
basket.
eat.
Right. The word picnic. So there is a claim, it's a false claim, that the word picnic originates from racist lynchings.
Oh.
So
the word itself comes from that.
yeah, so on Black Twitter, they were sharing this meme that claimed that the word picnic originates from the racist killings of African Americans. The claim is false. So
Oh, good. So that's not racist.
it's not racist.
Okay.
The text said in the meme that the word picnic was used to describe festive events attended by racist whites. And it said at these meetings, black men released from jail would be caught by mobs of white men who would lynch or burn them alive in front of the cheering crowds.
Oh.
And the post alleges that the word picnic itself stems from the N-word, but it's not true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this has been proven false.
They're all false.
So we can continue to have picnics.
It's all made up bullshit stuff. So the word picnic actually comes from 17th century French word.
Pique-nique.
Yeah. Did you know
oui.
that? Yeah, pique-nique.
Je parle français.
Oui, tu parles français. Je parle français un petit peu aussi. A term used to describe a social gathering in which, and of course, for some reason, when you're reading Reuters, it just decides you're reading an article, it decides to just shoot you to the top of the page, like you weren't reading what you were trying to read. It wants you to, to just read the top of the page again. It says pique-nique, a term used to describe a social gathering in which attendees each contributed with a portion of food or another useful item. So
It's like potluck.
It's like a potluck, yes, but it's a picnic, right? So, words that are racist, but it's now racist. So if they believe it's racist, then they'll violently attack you if you say it in front of them.
Yeah, I mean, tell that to the people in Japan right now who are having picnics under the cherry blossom trees.
Japan is a little bit racist. We were looking at some of the things that how they deal with foreigners and stuff, and they have no gaijin restaurants there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like no
Segregation.
foreigners allowed in their
And
restaurants.
apparently, we just learned this morning, we have to carry around our passport with us everywhere because they can stop you at any point.
Yeah, the Japanese government demands that you carry your passport with you
It's
at all times.
illegal if you don't.
Right, it's illegal not to carry your
Yes.
passport with you at all times.
It's
So
kind of scary.
yeah, it is kind of scary.
I mean, they're gonna know that I'm definitely not Japanese because of my hair.
I would think so. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see
You
how.
you might be able to pass with sunglasses.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. As Japanese, yeah,
Yeah,
very clearly,
think so.
honestly. Very funny, Stephanie. Picnic. All right, number 2, peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, weren't you talking about that the other day?
Peanut butter jelly time.
It's a topic on the show about how it's racist, right?
I can't remember, honestly. Let's see. Peanut butter, jelly, and racism. This is according to the New York Times.
Jelly time.
Yeah, these are the times that I'm actually glad that I've subscribed to the New York Times. Here we go. Oh, actually, there's a video associated with this. Hold on. I can pull it up on. No, I can't pull it up, but I can play the clip. Let's see. Implicit bias. They can't hear that clip. So
You have to actually take implicit bias trainings for social work.
Let's see.
So implicit bias is all about the bias that you inherently have about different people with
Right.
differences. I'm using a Kamala word. I'm using the word difference multiple times.
Right. So it's something about black men and violent crime being paired together and peanut butter and jelly. So
Peanut butter and jelly.
I see, because black men and crime go together like peanut butter and jelly. We get it. Yeah.
Okay. So it's making that comparison.
Yeah, it's
Alright.
making that comparison. And certainly, you would never compare black men and violent crime. Just whatever you do, don't read the FBI statistics. Okay. Moving on, the Washington Post. American cycling has a racism problem. So
Apparently that
not only,
trans woman is racist.
not only has bicycling become transgender, but it's also racist. So I don't know why anybody bikes at all, to be honest.
How is it racist?
It's
Riding
okay.
a
So you're gonna make
bicycle?
me read the Washington
Oh,
Post.
sorry.
American cycling
people used to ride
has
their bikes back in the 1950s, all throughout the 1900s. They've been
American
riding
cycling
bikes.
has a racism problem. Today, the context of increasing justice. I hate how they tell like 20-minute stories before they actually get to the content.
Exactly. That's why I like Google sometimes, because when you search for something, it'll just tell you the answer and it'll highlight it.
Yeah.
Be like, this is what it is.
Yep. Here it is. Threatened by the radical mobility of the bicycle, white Southerners attempted to prevent Black Americans from riding in public.
Oh,
And
okay.
sought to curtail the rise of separate Black
go.
cycling culture, the legacy of which modern cycling is confronting to this day.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Nowadays, it's the left who's like all about segregation. So,
I mean, and mostly people on the left do the cycling.
mhm.
They're the people wearing the spandex on the side of the road that I sometimes honk at.
Yes. So, anyway, so bicycling now racist. Congratulations.
I mean, everybody's been discriminated against at points in history.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, gosh, if you review history, all these movies that we watch and documentaries about the Roman Empire, and they were just cruel.
Oh, yeah.
People have been horrible.
Well, it's like here's I'm reading this, continuing this reading of this amazing book, 33 Strategies of War, and I was telling you last night about like kindness and niceness, and how it's like you shouldn't be using it unless it's to get something that you want, essentially. And it's kind of like throughout history, like people they didn't care, like they would rape, murder, massacre, like steal, war, send a plague and stuff like that. There was no care for like things like human rights or no concept of individualism or anything like that.
Exactly.
These are all new concepts. We got to give a big shout out and a cheer for our friend Matt Unruh. He sent us $2. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, every super chat goes today. We're going to use for selfish purposes for our trip to Japan. So if you want to throw in the tip jar today to help us on our trip to Japan, we're gonna use it selfishly. So just FYI. So
Buy some trinkets to put on the show.
Oh, that's a
so
great
that I can
idea.
See them.
Yeah. Maybe we could find some kind of cherry blossom related item, and we'll bring it back and we'll put it on the set. So you can, if you want to help us get a nice set piece to add. Things that are racist. Black women are pushing for equality in swimming. Not enough to have men now compete against women in
So
swimming. So
I think it's a stereotype that black people don't swim very well,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because I know a lot of black women don't like to get their hair wet
Right.
because it is hard to dry
To
for
style it.
sure.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's where it's coming from.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the next thing on the list is I'm having a nice big hot drink of
The coffee is what you talked
coffee.
about on the show recently.
Yes,
That's
coffee is
right.
racist.
Coffee is racist.
Because apparently coffee was created by black people for black people, and so it's
They
now a pillar of white supremacist capitalism. And I have
probably
to.
harvested the coffee beans,
I'll drink.
right?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that.
Gosh. Yeah, I mean, it's like all of these things could definitely stem back to something that's inappropriate and discriminatory. I
Mm.
believe it. But then
Yeah.
you say, how do we move forward? Should we just stop doing everything in our world?
Yeah, if you're white, you should just cease to exist.
Yeah.
The next item that is on the list that is a pantry porn trend
Oh.
rooted in racist and sexist behavior.
Hmm.
According to a Loyola professor, if you ditch cereal boxes for uniform glass containers and opted for plexiglass storage bins in your fridge, you may be engaging in a classist, racist, and sexist behavior.
Oh, I don't do that. I keep the things in the containers. Unless it's a leftover.
Well, then you're not racist.
Yeah, no, I'm
right?
definitely not.
If you keep your cereal in your box, then it
Yeah.
is pro-African American.
I like to look at the
and pro-woman.
boxes. They're fun.
Yeah, and if you put it in a glass jar, it is because you are a unrepentant racist,
Yeah.
basically a member of the KKK.
Oh boy.
Another one here is the Loyola professor. He went on to say that white women's pantries are racist and that cleanliness upholds racism.
Being clean.
Yes, yes. Cleanliness upholds racism, according to
interesting.
Loyola.
I mean, is that,
Cleanliness
because when
upholds
African Americans were
racism.
slaves, they would clean the houses.
They would apparently be dirty, I guess, is according to this Loyola professor. But we're the racists for wanting to be clean. So the
Yeah.
new minimalism approach is a thinly veiled excuse to entice people to buy more items, containers, labels, and storage space that give off the decluttered appearance of simple living.
Mhm.
Cleanliness has historically been used as a gatekeeping mechanism to reinforce status distinctions
Okay.
based on a vague understanding of niceness. Nice people, nice yards, nice houses make for nice neighborhoods.
Sure, sure.
But what lies beneath the surface of this anti-messiness, pro-niceness stance is a history of classist, racist, and sexist social structures.
Okay. So it's about appearances.
Yes.
People want to appear like they're better and to have
So-
nice green lawns.
Yes. So according to this Loyola professors, and if you had to guess, would you guess that this professor is male or female?
A female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a woman. According to her research, the social media influencers.
Because the man is outside busy mowing the lawn.
Ye-
She's inside thinking about philosophy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Loyola professor well, she I'm guessing she doesn't have a man, Stephanie.
She might have a sim. You never know.
How dare you,
Yeah.
she says. So even celebrities like Kim Kardashian are in this trend,
Oh.
replacing everything with glass jars and things like that.
Oh, I
So
thought you were
it's-
going to talk about Kim's butt.
No,
'Cause
well,
that's another one on the list.
Of racism,
Yeah.
yes. So having a big giant full pantry also racist, right? Sign
I
of
like
capitalist
big
success.
pantries and I cannot lie.
Very funny. So pantry porn is what they call that. So people who keep stuff on hand have become a symbol of resilience for them if they have the money and the space to do so.
Preppers?
Apparently, if they call the Kardashians preppers.
Hmm.
So pantry porn, this childless cat lady says, is as a status symbol, relies on the promise of making daily domestic work easier. But if women are largely responsible for the work required to maintain the perfectly organized pantry, it's critical to ask, easier for whom? Wow.
Yeah, our pantry is not really that organized. Mostly because I can't even see the things in our pantry because the shelves are very short. And so you have to pull things out in order to see what's back there.
Yeah,
It's very annoying.
Yeah, well, that's because we're not the Kardashians in a
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar mansion, all that stuff. We live as much more frugally life than they do. All right, next thing on the list of things that are racist, PETA says phrases like "bring home the bacon" are comparable to racism and homophobia. I would expect PETA to say something stupid like that. What about you?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, they're always
How dare
nitpicking things
you.
that have to do with animals.
Yes. So bring home the bacon. That's comparable to racism and homophobia. Congratulations.
Because it's saying they're expecting somebody to bring home the money, furthering stereotypes of men being the breadwinners, possibly.
Oh, careful. Bread is racist because bread is what you use to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Right.
So watch out on that one, Stephanie.
Yeah, and especially white bread is
Mm.
probably very racist, I would imagine.
Right.
Yes.
Shakespeare is racist.
I could probably see that. I mean, I can barely understand Shakespeare, but you understand it way better.
Who in God's green earth, other than theater majors and a few people outside of the theater world who enjoy theater, actually know a goddamn thing about William Shakespeare, right? I wish that I could talk about Shakespeare more, but I know that like references are just going to be going way over people's heads. I tried the other day to do a Shakespeare reference, and it just completely fell flat. I thought on Twitter of all places, people will understand my Hamlet reference here.
Uh-huh.
No one knew what the hell I was saying, right? Tell her to paint an inch thick, right? Get thee to a nunnery, all this kind of stuff. They had
Yeah, I would have had no idea what's going on.
I know, I
Sorry.
know. We haven't watched that Hamlet movie yet, have we? With Mel Gibson, the Shakespeare version, the one that's like
We watched some sort of
watched the clips.
from Hamlet. Yeah, and it was really good. And you were
Yeah.
helping to interpret it for me because I had no idea what they were saying.
Even the modern interpretations of Shakespeare are still above most people's heads.
For sure.
And it's such a shame. Here I go on a rant. All right, it's such a shame because like to understand Shakespeare is to understand the English language, right? To have if you have a mastery of Shakespeare, then you have a mastery of English because it is the root of our modern language. And Shakespeare did it best and did pretty much everything before anybody else did, unless you're talking about the ancient Greeks and things like that, in which case you might have a case there.
I feel like I like that. What is it? That pigeon language. I like that better than Shakespeare language. It's more fun.
Please don't compare pigeon to William Shakespeare for the love of God. All right. So all of Shakespeare's plays are about race. Shakespeare is not racist. Philosophy is systemic racism. Right.
Okay.
So it's not just that Hegel and Rousseau were racists. Racism was baked into the very structure of their dialectical philosophy. So dialectics are racist, dialectical reasoning, right? So breaking things down using dialectics in order to reason.
I wonder how that is racist. But I'm sure philosophers were racist individuals, so I could see that.
Sure. So anybody, and Adolf Hitler drank water. So if you drink water, then you're basically Hitler.
Right.
Yes. Another thing
If
that
you
is
eat mint chocolate chip ice cream, then you're like the
You're like-
Oklahoma City bomber.
exactly because isn't that your favorite ice cream?
It is.
Mint chocolate chip ice cream.
When I was in middle school, I heard that he ate that, and I was like, oh, he has the same ice cream that's favorite like me.
Yeah,
I,
and he blew up the
yeah.
Oklahoma City
I was weirdly touched by
Federal
that
Building.
as a child. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I just thought it was sad that people died.
Okay, so long
Yeah.
story short, my wife was obsessed with the Oklahoma City bomber for a little bit when she was a kid because
You don't believe in the death penalty.
right she's against the death penalty. So am
Yeah.
I. Yeah, let's hear
At
it
a
for
very young age, I fought for that. I remember having a debate with my dad at a restaurant about the
Yes.
death penalty.
Yeah, you are, and here's the thing: you are such a sweetheart, Stephanie. You are
Yeah.
so kind, right? And you were right about that issue when you were a child, and you are right now.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of good moral and ethical reasons of which we can deduce using dialectical reasoning. Is it dialectical or is it dialectical?
Dialectical, because it's dialectical behavioral therapy.
There you
That's
go.
a DBT.
I always thought it was dialectics, but with the C was silent, but apparently not.
Yeah.
Welsh language use is branded racist, and it excludes minorities, the report's on it. So,
Oh.
I mean, you could call any language that a minority doesn't understand racist, because if you don't speak their language to a minority, then that's racist, because if you use Welsh, then the minorities can't understand you. I mean, I guess there being Welsh people.
I don't even understand Welsh, probably. Yeah, that would
That's
be
Welsh. There
impossible.
Actually, that's more like Brad Pitt in that movie. Where's that boxing movie? I can't remember. Where it's like Brad Pitt plays that role where he talks like, I'm pretty sure he's a Welsh boxer. He's like,
I've seen that movie.
oh,
It'd be
it's
interesting.
pretty funny. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a gangster kind of movie where, does anybody know what movie I'm talking about here? Somebody send me a text, please. 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Exercise.
Exercise is racist.
Yes, exercise is also racist. The white supremacist origins of exercise, a history of U.S. physical fitness. So,
because we weren't working out in the field, so we needed some sort of physical exercise.
right. Yeah. Black people had to work in manual labor.
Physical labor.
Right. And white people went to school and did physical education. Therefore, physical education is racist.
They
There you
sat
go.
on their butts. Yep.
Yep. The Washington Post says that the Masters tradition, golf, is rooted in racism and sexism.
So Tiger Woods, why is he playing golf?
You know what? I don't know, but I think he's half white, so you can get away
Yeah.
with that these days, right? So, anyways, nobody's gonna tell me what the movie was with Brad Pitt where he plays the Welsh guy. I'm gonna Google it real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. Quick Google
Pitt
search should.
Movie Welsh boxer. Pretty sure it's Snatch. That's what it was.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Yes.
I definitely want to.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll fight you for it. Hold on. I'm gonna find the clip here.
I'll fight you for it.
I'll fight
Pun
you for
intended.
it. Yeah, but let's see if I can. Much bad hat. It's kind of how Welsh sounds, but I have no idea because I'm not Welsh. But it's racist to speak Welsh around me, so please don't do it.
We've been watching movies where the people's accents really don't sound like what they should. We were watching, what was that movie just the other day?
And and they didn't even try and do an
It took
accent.
place in the Civil War era.
Oh God. I don't know. I don't know.
Gosh.
Oh my God.
Gosh.
Stephanie,
But anyway, they were supposed to be. Leonardo DiCaprio was in it.
Shoot,
They
Stephanie.
were supposed to be speaking Australian.
Right, and none of them
sounded
even
so
tried
bad.
doing an Australian accent. Okay, hold on. I found the clip. Here's from Snatch.
Hey, bud, how you say? Hey, look. It helped as much I'm gonna have. You still got a car. Suggest you use it for
Oh God.
I think you should
Are
find
there
out
are there
when you still got the
captions?
legs to
Yes.
Oh.
Nobody brings a fella the size of you unless they're trying to say something they're talking, right, Bye? Sorry, Mickey.
I mean,
What
I'm
the hell is he
impressed
saying?
by Brad Pitt.
Welsh
He learned that language.
accent.
That's pretty cool.
And well, let's see if I can find a clip that'll say Welsh language so they can hear what the Welsh English. This is Welsh English. What's typical Welsh about the Welsh language? Wikitons speaking Welsh. Here we go.
Fe nhw I di Hywel Gwynryn a dwi'n gweithio fel darlledwr i'r BBC Cymru ac yma yn y brifddinas yng Nghaerdydd y dwi'n byw ac yn
Is
gweithio.
that a cow in the
Mae'r
background?
daith yn cychwyn nôl yn 1942, dyna pryd ces i'n ngeni, yn Llangefni Sir Fôn, Ynys Fechan ydi Sir Fôn, oddi ar arfordir Gogledd Cymru. Wedyn mi eisiau i'r ysgol gynradd yno pan oeddwn i'n tua 6 oed, a mi rhaid mi dysgu Saesneg oherwydd Cymraeg ydy'r iaith gyntaf. Cymraeg ydy iaith y teulu a iaith yr aelwyd wedi bod ers blynyddoedd. Ac yn wir, pan oeddwn i'n mynd i'r ysgol yn Llangefni, mi oedd 95...
That's Welsh.
This is just... There's nothing that sounds familiar about that.
I have no idea. I couldn't understand a single word he said. So you know what? Racist.
Yeah.
Racist.
Yeah.
There it is. Welsh, speaking Welsh is racist. Good morning to everybody. If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show, I'm your host, Austin Peterson. My lovely wife, Stephanie Peterson, joining me in studio today. Hi, Steffi.
Hello.
Pretty much, we've been going without a commercial break. It's probably time for us to take a quick little break. Go to the restroom. We're going to take a brief little 5-minute break. We'll be right back. Our voice is getting a little tired. We'll be right back. When we get back, we'll continue our list of things that are racist, and we'll say our goodbyes before we go for a couple weeks on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Bye.
Donald Trump and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Step right up, ladies and gents, to learn about the coolest president yet. He's not just any old prez, he's Calvin Coolidge, and boy oh boy is he different from the rest. He was quiet as a mouse, but don't you underestimate his power. He knew how to handle money, and he didn't waste an hour. He cut taxes, lowered debt, and balanced the budget with ease. No wonder the Roaring Twenties brought such prosperity and peace. But don't take my word for it. Grab a copy of Calvin the Coolest President and see for yourself. It's a children's book that'll make you smile and help your little ones learn about wealth. You can find it on Amazon Kindle or get your hands on a paperback at apforlibertyshop.com. So come on down and get yourself a copy of the book that's making waves all around town. You won't regret it, so get ready to be floored because Calvin Coolidge, well, folks, he really scored.
I'm a public defender.
I am a public defender.
I'm proud to be a public defender.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
Everybody from a speeding ticket to capital murder.
For every dollar we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
Public defenders have to do pretty much everything on their own.
Social workers, counselors.
Investigating is another piece of it.
The average public defender holds 300 cases annually.
You never feel like there's enough time.
Public defenders have health issues all the time.
A lot of people give up and say, I can't do this work anymore.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
There are a lot of people who say that they would not still be public defenders, but for Gideon's Promise.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Gideon's Promise has changed the face of public defense.
People see us as troublemakers.
Good trouble only.
We don't make it easy. It should not be easy to take away someone's liberty.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume again.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
Do you have any real-world experience?
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Make no mistake, reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Glad to have you here. Hope you're excited for Friday, ready for the weekend. Things are looking up for us. My lovely wife, Stephanie Peterson, is joining me in studio today on Freedom Friday and Family Friday. Glad to have you here today, Stephanie. We're so excited about the upcoming trip. For all of our new friends who are watching the show for the very first time, sorry to say that we won't be here for the next couple of weeks. The Wake Up America show will be taking a brief hiatus, but there will be a show. The show must go on.
Yeah.
My brother Justin Peterson will be taking over in my stead next week for 1 hour a day. And somebody was asking earlier if we were going to be doing it, if it starts at the same time. Yes.
Yeah, I assume so.
So it will start at the same time.
'Cause he's on the East Coast.
He's on the East Coast. So
Yeah.
for him, it's 8 o'clock start time. So it'll be 8 to 9 East Coast time in Boston. And you'll be able to watch my brother for an hour each day next week. So you will get some content. Now, the week after that, I will attempt to set up some replays for you so you can have a little bit of extra content and things like that, but no promises.
Yeah.
Frankly, vacation is vacation. And
No,
yeah.
we don't know what's really going to happen.
Yeah, we don't know what it's going to be
Keep
like.
saying, we need to vlog, we need to do this, that.
Yeah.
But then we're like,
Yeah, you know what?
But should we rest?
Yeah, maybe we should just kind of try and enjoy the hot mineral bath in Hakone, and enjoy the beautiful view of Mount Fuji as we are on the bullet train Shinkansen. As we would say.
Sure, all of the YouTube videos we watch, they're like, oh, once you go to Japan, you'll be back again. You'll come back over and over. And we're like, no, we think this is like our only chance in life to do this.
This will probably be the only time in our lives where, not having kids and can afford to go and all that kind of stuff. So, hopefully, the AP for Liberty shop will grow so huge, and hopefully the Wake Up America show will grow so huge, and we'll have so many sponsors and advertisers that we'll just be so wealthy that we can, travel the world one day. But we're not there. But
Right.
we've got to be frugal. But Facebook decided to bless us with a windfall last fall. And so at that point in time, I was like, all right, let's buy a couple of tickets and take the trip of a lifetime before we have babies.
Mhm.
All right, here we go. Before we go back to the topic of like things that are racist, I wanted to talk about this: how men perceive supportive partners. I like this story about the link between romantic care and well-being. This was from Psychology Today, and the key points are that for men, perceived partner support is associated with well-being.
Yeah.
That's the first point, which it seems like obvious, but I think it bears a discussion.
Yeah.
And the second item here, some men struggle to communicate stress to their significant others.
They do.
I guess, but I don't know that I struggle to communicate my stress to you, because I internalize all my stress.
Right. I'm not sure that you really know when you truly are stressed.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And it's probably
Yeah.
because I'm stressed all the time.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, because you seem like you're not stressed,
Mhm.
but it's almost like animals in the wild. They
Mhm.
hide their sicknesses and their
Mhm.
stress
Mhm.
because they have to. They
Yeah.
have to look strong. And I'm assuming men too.
Well, I just,
They have to appear strong, not weak.
it's like Jesse Ventura in the movie Predator. I ain't got time to bleed, right? It's like I
Right.
don't have time to be stressed or to worry about things, or
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
that's how men are programmed to be.
Mhm.
Women are like, go to work, bring home the bacon, right?
Oh,
They're
that's
like,
racist. That's racist.
no, I don't have time to write in a journal and meditate.
No, God,
She said the word, bring home the bacon. Peter is freaking out right now. Yeah, the thing is that when it comes to like a men's stress, right? Yeah, there's like all these societal expectations, but it really is true that not only that nobody cares, but it's also like there's just no time to like sit around and talk about how stressed you are, right? There's no time to sit down and you're, as someone who does therapy, like you speak to a lot of men who in Missouri and Michigan, who manly men who
Mhm.
do at a minimum take that time to speak to you that for an hour a day or whatever.
Right,
And
mostly because their significant others tell them they need to,
let's see.
that they need to change in order to make the relationship work.
Oh, that's sad. And see,
Yeah.
I feel bad. Oh my God, Andy Opperman just donated, dropped $100 in our tip jar.
Are you kidding
Wow.
me? Oh my
No,
gosh,
I'm serious.
that's huge.
He's saying, please splurge on some amazing Japanese cuisine. Thank you. Hey, look at that.
So sweet.
Doug H as well, $10. Look at that. And he says that Wales has a town named Lanfair Willie Gwyn Gilligo Gary Chywern Drob William Cilio Gogo Gogo.
Oh my gosh.
Says their language is ridiculous.
I'm feeling emotion just from how gracious people are.
No kidding, no kidding. Kampai, says Quest Fanning. You just dropped a couple bucks in our Japan tip jar. Thank you.
Like seriously, I just
Andy, thank you.
don't even understand. People are so selfless.
I know. We're
Truly.
very grateful. You know what we say?
Huh.
Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Hi, arigatou
Arigatou gozaimashita.
Hi, arigatou gozaimashita. Hi, domo arigatou gozaimasu. Yeah, we're very excited to go to Japan, and thank you for helping facilitate that, Andy. We will definitely go out for a nice dinner in Kyoto. Get ourselves a nice dinner. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate that. Quest. Thank you, Quest. Thank you, Doug H.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
It's just so touching,
Yeah,
truly.
for sure. Well worth it, Doug. We'll take a picture and send it to you guys while we're on the trip. Make sure that you're following me on all the social medias. I don't know, whatever you like to use, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff, because we will post photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Sure.
the best place to watch us, I think, is Twitter, because that's kind of like real time, and you can see where we're at. So the trip is going to be Tokyo for a few days.
We start in Tokyo.
We ride the train to Hakone, which is
Hakone.
where the hot springs are.
Mhm.
We're there for a day. We
Mhm.
go to Osaka.
Osaka.
We'll stay in Osaka, and we'll ride the train to Kyoto, which is the ancient capital, Hiroshima, the Himeji Castle, and then we'll just cruise around. We might go to Kobe and get some Kobe beef, right?
There's a bunch of cities, or if we really want to hang out with deer, we can go to Nara.
Right, which we kind of like. Everybody's like, go to Nara and feed the deer, and it's like we have deer in the United States. I think
Deer in our backyard.
Yeah, exactly. We've got deer.
And
I
they
think
eat our sunflowers.
yeah, we're good on the deer. So yeah, this year we're gonna plant the sunflowers on the other side of the fence.
Yes.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, the hotel I'm most excited about is the day before we leave, and
Mhm.
it's the Robot Dinosaur Hotel in Tokyo.
Yeah, which is actually it was like the most inexpensive
Huh?
hotel that we stay at
Because they don't have staff. I mean, they have staff, but they're just behind the scenes.
yeah, you don't see the staff like the people who are your attendants are all robot dinosaurs.
Yep.
So we're super excited about
Mm.
that one. It's really going to be fun. And we're kind of glad that we didn't do the whole travel agent thing because like the travel agency thing was going to be wicked expensive and
Would
like
have costed an arm and a leg.
yeah,
for
and
sure.
and because you're paying for all the American like English speaking tours. And we
Private
just,
drivers.
yeah, private drivers and the
Yep.
buses and all that stuff. And you were like, you know what? We're just gonna plan this ourselves. We're gonna book this ourselves, and
What
we're just
do the travel agents know? So here's my travel tip.
let's hear it.
Contact travel agents.
Mhm.
Have them send you an itinerary based on
Oh.
what you want, and creatively copy their itinerary. So they'll tell you what hotels to stay at. They'll tell you how to take certain trains to certain places.
Mhm.
Just make that your own.
Yeah, yeah. So
It costs much less.
we're getting credit. I'm getting credit for trying to read the town in Wales. The Landfair Willie Willinga O'Gary Wircher Rob Williant Silio
one-
Gogogogoch.
That's one city.
That's one city, yes. It's like the longest town name in the entire
Oh.
world. Yes. I think I feel like I deserve a little credit for that. Thank you.
Ugh,
Thank you. Thank you.
that's tiring.
Now, listen, here's the thing. We do appreciate, of course, our super chats over on YouTube, and we're super grateful for you guys. But don't forget to visit AP for Liberty shop and get yourself. Well, I can't wait to see and hear the stories of people wearing the Caucasians jerseys because we've sold like 30 or 40 of these shirts.
Yeah, they're pretty much the most popular on the website.
Yeah,
at
they're
this
like
point.
number one right now. And we
Mhm.
also have the Don't Tread on Me shirts, which some lady bought like 12 to like outfit her whole family or something.
I know. Sometimes I wonder, like, who are you people, and what are you doing with our items?
So if you want to get something for your money, of course, back rather than just a tip, which of course we love the tips, but
And the crazy
you
part
can get
about
some
it
merch there at AP for Liberty shop.
is we've been having international customers. We just had someone in Australia.
know.
We had someone in Canada
Yeah.
that bought, and they buy a lot of stuff.
It's kind of wild, right?
And they pay for a lot of shipping because it's international.
Yeah, the Australian shipping was like, like $30 or something like
know.
that to buy a couple of shirts. We were like, geez, okay.
But I guess you can't get that kind of stuff in Australia.
Yeah, that's right. We are the originals
Yes.
with the Caucasian Chads.
I mean, imagine wearing a Caucasian shirt in Japan. I don't know.
I wish I had one to wear, honestly, because I think it's going to be funny. I am looking
I'd be a
forward
little
to.
scared.
Yeah, I am looking forward to wearing some of my silly shirts when we get there and
Yeah.
stuff. Like we know that Japan is kind of like a more conservative culture to an extent.
Oh, I'm going to be fitting in. I'm going to look like a nun.
But
I'm going to be wearing tights.
Don't be
under
doing
everything.
that. But the thing is that we're going to be in cities which are obviously more liberal than
Uh-huh.
the probably the countryside. So something to see. So gonna see some in the wild soon. Ask the question. Welcome back, Jose. Good morning, back. Welcome back, Jose. Nice to see you, Tully Owens, Matt Unruh. Quest Fanning, Elizabeth Press. Nice to see you all today. We're glad to have our regular Cantina crew friends as well as our friends over on Rumble this morning. Good morning, Rumble. Especially Hammerlager, who I think Hammerlager is like our number one fan over there. We appreciate you very
Sounds
much.
pretty hardcore.
I missed the comment earlier from Quite the Caricature 77 on Rumble. Said, my dog starts in her bed, then sneaks into our bed while we're asleep.
That's what Kelvin does.
Yeah.
He's a sneaky
He's
little
a
man.
sneaker, yeah. Cats have attitudes, so I get why cat owners can't sleep around them. Yeah, I get it for sure. Nice to see you, Quite the Caricature 77.
If you want to see emotion in a man, bring him around animals.
Good point.
Men become very emotional around children, young children, and animals.
If you want to see how a man's character is, see how he is around animals. They say.
Oh yeah.
Right.
If your dog doesn't like your man,
Mm-hmm.
then get rid of your man. not your dog.
Quest Fanning says, gonna miss you too. No, we appreciate that. Thank you.
It'll be really weird. I mean, honestly, when I used to work at the hospital, I don't even think this type of a journey would be possible because of how vacation time is. It's like if I had taken off 2 weeks' time, that would have like depleted most of my vacation.
Yeah. Oh, there's no way. If I was still working at KWOS, I
Yeah.
couldn't take this trip.
Yeah.
There's no way that they would let me take an 11-day trip
Absolutely.
like that, right?
So it's like you pretty much have to work for yourself in order to do long-term
You either
things
have to
like
be
this.
mega wealthy
Yeah.
or you have to work for yourself, which typically people who are mega wealthy do work for themselves.
Yeah.
But there are some people who make big salaries working for
Oh, yeah. I mean, some
big tech.
companies with the unlimited time off, they
yeah.
allow you to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, I'm going to miss you guys too. And the thing is, for this year, yesterday I asked the question on Twitter, what is it you need more than anything? And somebody asked me that question back. Mary Kramer did. Good morning, Mary, if you're here.
Oh, yes. I was actually reading that.
Yeah, and it was like, people had really interesting answers for that, but mine was just, I really need some time off because this year for me has been kind of like, I don't know what I would call it, and I know you've kind of seen me doing this, but it's been like my year of like reinvention and reimagining and learning, like as an adult learner. Basically, I have spent every waking moment from January until today learning,
Yeah.
working on the business, adding some new skill, experimenting with something new with the content, creating merchandise for the shop. I have basically, and I've basically burnt the candle at both ends. And so lately, and my voice gets, by Friday, like right now, it's red and hot and raw. The nurse, when I went in for like my physical the other day, was like, your throat's really red. And I'm like, because I talk. No, I'm not sick.
Yeah.
My throat is always raw because I talk for a living.
Yeah.
And so knowing that I'm going to get these 2 weeks of rest for my voice, really excited about it. But it's time. I need a break, right? And I just want you guys to know that I know that like 2 weeks is a long time to be gone. And some of you who are our monthly supporters and things like that are probably like, hey, like we want our Wake Up America show. That's why I've gone out of my way to get my brother to be there and stuff like that. But
Right. Hey, even people on radio shows, I mean, they take off breaks. Even Dr. Phil takes breaks. Like he plays rerun shows during holiday seasons.
But we're not like,
Yeah.
so the thing is, Steffi and I aren't really rich, right? And compared to people in Africa, we are, right? But it's like, it's not easy for us to do something like this because we don't have bosses and guaranteed paychecks and all this kinds of things.
We're not working. We're not making money. I'm not making money either.
Right. Well, yeah. Unless people are buying stuff at the shop, in which case, right. But the thing is that, it's a little risky for us to kind of do something like this in a sense, right? So anyways, so we would only do it if we really need it, which we definitely do. But I just want to say thanks to all of our supporters out there who have, helped us to this point, because I mean, since September when I left KWS until today, it's been like a miracle how successful the show has been. I mean, in relative terms.
Oh yeah.
Like you'll get trolls who will come in and will say, "Oh, there's only 30 people watching," and there'll be other streams that are like, there's like 1,000 people watching them, and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I don't care. It doesn't matter because like we have what matters. We have sponsors. We have advertisers. We have a shop, a merchandise
We've
shop.
got people who give us super chats that are very incredibly generous.
But that was going to be my point here.
Yeah.
Is that none of that other stuff that's sustaining for us would even be possible if it wasn't for this small group of hardcore believers and people who love us. Right.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, no, not yet. Really? Oh. I'm feeling kind of emotional. I mean, this is really
these are our friends,
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you have a schedule, like it's kind of when school ends, you know what I mean? The school year ends.
As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change. Oh my God, that song would make me cry every time school would end.
It's time for us to say goodbye.
Oh.
Chris Morrill's asking for a prorated refund. Funny, Chris.
Rated refund.
My brother Justin will be here next week, so if the refund is prorated, it'll be only for 4 or 5 days for the second week, so because you do get a morning show next week. He's just kidding. Thank you very much to all of our friends: Quest Fanning, Matt Unruh, Tolly Owens, Chris Morrill, Al, Maria Krabs, A.L. Wild, Caleb Vanderfeltz, Elizabeth Press, Doug H., and all of our friends over on Rumble this morning. Let's give you an applause today.
you all so much.
Thank you all for all that you do for supporting the Wake Up America show, for Stephanie and I's little entrepreneurial venture. We appreciate you very much. Again, without you, none of this happens. Please be nice to my brother next week. He's not quite as technical as I am. There might be little hitches and hiccups and things like that. Remember that if for some reason the YouTube stream goes down or whatever, anything like that, he should be streaming at least at the very minimum on wakeupamericashow.com, because the website stream, if he's able to get it up at a minimum, will always be there, wakeupamericashow.com.
Yeah.
And there is a little chat button down there that you can use in case YouTube or for whatever reason, Rumble or anything like that does. So
Gosh, when he's doing the show, what time is it going to be for us? Japan is, what do we say, 14 hours?
13 years.
Is it 14 hours
It's
or 13 hours?
13 hours.
Oh my gosh. So
behind us or ahead of us?
ahead.
Ahead of us.
It's a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so gosh, when it's like 8 a.m. or 7 a.m., then it'll be like nighttime for us in the middle of the night.
So here's the plan for next week. If YouTube is not down, check Rumble at AP for Liberty. If Rumble isn't down, go to wakeupamericashow.com. If you're wondering what the hell's going on, go to my brother's Twitter account and he'll tweet, hey, something's wrong, this blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Okay?
I'm sure, we'll have a pocket Wi-Fi, so I'm sure, we'll probably be able to retweet things too.
For sure, yeah,
Maybe.
and if you're following us, at AP for Liberty and Steffi P for Liberty on Twitter, you'll get to follow our show and stuff like that. So if you want to do us a favor and drop us a super chat before we go, we'd be super grateful. Otherwise, check out apforlibertyshop.com. Every day we drop awesome new Liberty merchandise over on the website. So go over there, check it out, get yourself a cool Caucasian shirt or Don't Tread on Me shirt or whatever it is you like. I do have a lovely V-neck for the ladies of the Don't Tread on Me shirt.
Yes.
All right, Stephanie, do you have anything else that you'd like to say to people before we go?
Oh boy. Well, be well, stay happy, and focus on your own goals. What is it that's going to make a difference in your life and make life meaningful for you? You have to go on these journeys and have these experiences in order to truly live.
It's a vision quest.
Yeah.
As your host, I am signing off for the next 2 weeks. We will see you when we get back from the land of the rising sun. And as always, thank you very much for watching the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today. Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apeforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apeforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit aporlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.